Okay, so once you have your chain, and you want your chain to be in multiples of 4, not multiples of 2. So make sure your ending number will be divisible by 4. So I have 24 stitches here, and I'm gonna make sure that this is my beginning stitch here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, so my beginning stitch is here. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch in that beginning single crochet, and that will end my beginning row. Now for round 1, you want to chain 2, and then you want to double crochet, and by the way, this chain 2 will count as your first double crochet. Double crochet in all of your stitches all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you when you get to the very end of your round. So when you reach the end of your round, you want to slip stitch in the beginning chain 2 to end your round 1. Now for round 2, you want to do a chain of 1 and front post double crochet onto that beginning chain 2 space. We're going to be doing front post double crochets and back post double crochets this round. If you don't know how to do a front post double crochet, it's just basically doing a double crochet on the post of your double crochet. Yarn over, pull up the post of the next double crochet and work a double crochet on it. That's a front post double crochet. Now you should have 2. One worked on your chain 2, and then one worked on the very first double crochet of the row. Now we're going to alternate. The next 2 posts of your double crochets, you'll be working a back post double crochet. So yarn over, come in from behind, push that post back, and then you'll be working a double crochet. And that's how you do a back post double crochet. We'll do that again. Yarn over, go in between, push that post back, pull up a loop, then you'll yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that's 2 back post double crochets. Now your next will be 2 front post double crochets. That's when you come in and pull it forward. And then your next 2 will be 2 back post double crochets. And you're going to repeat this for your entire round. So 2 front post, 2 back post, 2 front post, 2 back post, and you should end perfectly. This is your beginning 2 front posts. You should end perfectly with 2 back posts, double crochets here, and slip stitching in the beginning front post double crochet to end your round. Okay, so I just finished my 2 back post double crochets, and I'm going to slip stitch in the top of my very first front post double crochet to end my round. Now for rounds 3 through 6, so for the next 4 rounds, you're going to be repeating what you just did. So you'll chain 1, and you'll put a front post double crochet worked onto that first front post double crochet. And then you'll front post double crochet in your next front post double crochet. This is what you're going to be doing for the next 4 rounds. You'll always chain 1 and put 2 front post double crochets in the first 2 front post double crochets. And then the next 2 stitches is you'll put a back post double crochet worked on the 2 back post double crochets. And then you'll repeat that for the round. You'll be putting a front post double crochet onto your next 2 front post double crochets, and then you will work a back post double crochet on your next 2 back post double crochets. And you'll be repeating this for the full round, and at the end of this one, that'll be round 3. So you'll do this for rounds 4, 5, and 6 as well. And when you get done with that, come back and I will show you how to do your 2 border rows. Okay, once you get done with rounds 3 through 6, and this is the shawl, or the poncho, sorry. You can see that I have created kind of like a little border in between each one. And this is from the inside. Yeah, hold on. My son has it from the inside. There. Now you can see a little better. See the border that's in between each section of this. I'm going to show you now how to do that. That takes 2 rows, and then it'll just be a repeat of those 6 rows that you just did. So move that out of the way. Okay, so for round 7, you will chain 2. So chain 2, and again you will want to double crochet in each stitch around. This chain 2 will count as your first stitch, so that one's in the first front post double crochet. So in your second front post double crochet of the round, you want to put a double crochet, and you'll put a double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and do that for round 7, and I'll see you when you get back up here at the end. Okay, at the end of round 7, you want to slip stitch in that beginning chain 2 to end your round. Now for round 8, you want to chain 1, and this time we're going to be doing back post double crochets just like we did down here through all our double crochets this round, starting with the chain 2. So you want to yarn over and do a back post on that beginning chain 2, and then you want to do a back post on all of your double crochets this for round 8, and it will create this little border here that you're seeing that starts to form because you're pushing down that top of the stitch forward. So you want to continue to do this all the way around for round 8. Okay, after your last back post double crochet of round 8, you want to end your round by slip stitching in that first back post double crochet that you did, and that will end round 8. Now you're going to want to repeat rounds 1 through 8 over and over and over again, and I'll show you. Let's back up real quick to round 1, which was double crocheting in all your stitches around. So you'll just start off by double crocheting 2, and that will count as your first stitch. So you'll move over. Just want to make sure that yeah, this is the double crochet, the back post double crochet that was worked on my chain 2 from the previous row. So just make sure you don't put your first stitch, your first double crochet there. Your chain 2 will count as that first double crochet. You can count your stitches at the end as well to make sure you haven't added a stitch there. I'd say that's probably the only little hiccup you have when switching to repeat your repeat again. So at the end of your double crochet row, which is the repeat of round 1, you'll want to go ahead and count your stitches, make sure that you have enough, and then you'll move to round 2, which was the putting 2 front post double crochets and then 2 back post double crochets, and then you'll just continue. Then you'll repeat rounds 3 and 6, and then you'll do your border row again. Now I did my repeats. I used my whole skein, and from here where the shoulder is to the end here where the white is, that was all one yarn cake. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a little bit more here on the end. But I left it there because it kind of looks like a nice little ending. So I just basically repeated the repeat for my entire skein until it was done. And I made a large size for myself because I'm a big woman. And I started with 180 single crochets, or single crochet foundation stitches is what I used for my original. But ending count was 180 stitches. And it measured 56 inches or 142 centimeters long. And then I, put it into a ring. And then I put it around my shoulders to make sure that it would fit all the way around me because it's a poncho. And that it is a multiple of 4. The stitch count is divisible by 4. And then you can go ahead and start this pattern. for the whole thing. Now I have this pattern on my site for free where I shared the pictures that I took at the time when I was making it, because I was making this at a time that I wasn't really doing much work. I was just trying to get through a depression. So, but I did have enough mindset to take pictures, so feel free to go over there and use the pattern that I managed to write up for you. Now for the cowl, you'll notice that it goes from brown up to the opposite side, because I went ahead and I switched to the very bottom when I finished with my white here. I used my bottom stitches and attached my next skein as a border row. So this very first row is, I believe, back post double crochets, but I tried to stay normal so that it would look exactly the same. I started keeping it the same. And also you want to make sure when you're starting this top part that you won't be perfect, but try your best to match up, you know, align it as much as possible so that it looks like it's all one piece. So when you're attaching your next skein and you're starting your neck piece, just do your best to align the stitch pattern so that it looks even. And I did a total of this first brown one is the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did a total of 8. And as you can see on the last like 3 sections, it kind of goes out, or even the 4th section starts to go out. I start adding increases because I didn't want it to look like your head is in a tube sock and there's nothing hanging from your neck. So I wanted it to actually have a hood look where, you know, your head would be here and it'd hang down some. And it had an added bonus because when you're making your cowl, it's so long because it is a hood that you can actually kind of fold it in like this. Can fold it and then pull it down so it looks more like a cowl when it's on you. Fiddle around with it. I'm sure you'll find a way that it works for you. I had only this last little section hanging down like from my forehead, so it was like probably half of it or something, but it came down as far as I wanted. I didn't want it to, you know, overshadow my eyes or anything, so I stopped there. But you can make it shorter, you can make it longer, however you want. Be sure to head on over to my site and also sign up for my newsletter. That way you'll always see the newest things that I have out coming out for me. Also check out my Facebook page because I post my new and old patterns daily there as well. And I also am on Pinterest. If you like to use that platform, I recommend going and subscribing to my page on Pinterest because I allow other designers to post there as well, not just myself. So it's a good pattern source to find free patterns. So that's it, guys. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe out there. Bye.